Thank you for joining this lesson. We're going to discuss mathematics paper 2 in preparation for Kcse 2024 examination. Today's focus is going to be on how effectively we can purchase airtime from our M-Pesa to all the networks, whether Airtel, Telcom, Safaricom. Just get your airtime by going to your M-Pesa menu. Then you choose the option of Lipa na M-Pesa, then the pay bill option, whereby you will enter the digits as the pay bill 737356, then enter the account number. The account number is going to be your phone now, the phone number that you intend to load airtime for. Could be Safaricom, Airtel, Telcom, or any other network. Then finally, you choose the amount and you enter the PIN, then confirm your transaction. The airtime is going to reflect instantly. So once you go through this process, you will have promoted us. Yeah, and you get your airtime instantly. So please feel free to partner with us in this. The transactions are free of charge. So please try it out and also involve your friends and family. Thank you so much. Let me now focus on the paper that we're going to revise tonight. That is a mathematics paper 2. Let me check whether people are joining. Yeah, this is good. Thank you so much. I can see a big number following up. Remember to subscribe and share. Please invite a student, invite a friend. As long as they're in secondary school, they shall benefit from these programs. Number 11, use logarithms to 4 decimal places to evaluate. Then now we have a cube root of 23.56 multiplied by 0.28 squared divided by 4329. We're going to organize this work such that it becomes very easy for the examiner to allocate marks, and also for us to get the accurate answers. So let me organize such that I start with the number, then I go to the standard form of the number. Then after the standard forms now, I will be able to determine the logarithms. So I will start with number, then the standard form of this number. Then we will have the logarithm of the number. The first number, according to what has been displayed here, is 23.56. So now we shall write it in standard form, 2.356 times 10 power 1. So the logarithm will begin with 1 point. Now we read the log of 2.356, either from the math tables or from our calculators. This is going to be 3722. 3722 from calculators to 4SF. Then the next number is a 0.28. Though this one has been squared. Yeah, I can write it like that. So this is going to be 2 in standard form point. 10 multiplied by 10 power negative 1. The logarithm begins with a bar point. Now we read the logarithm of 2.8, and this will be 4472. 4472. Then because the number has been squared, this is how we deal with powers. Because the number has been squared, then the logarithm is supposed to be multiplied by 2. We multiply the logarithm by 2 because the number 0.28 has been raised to power 2. So we multiply the logarithm by 2. This shall be 4, then 4, carry 1, we get 9. Then 8 plus 1. Yeah, like that. Then we will have now bar 2. That will be bar 2. Yeah, just that way. Just that way. So it's now good to know that the first number appearing here and the second number have been multiplied. And this means their logarithms are supposed to be added. So the logarithm from that number and the logarithm from the first number are supposed to be directly added, because the numbers have been multiplied, we add their logarithms. So adding up, we're going to get 6 because of 2 plus 4, then 6 again, then 7 plus 9, again 6, carry 1. This will be 3 plus 1, 4, then plus 8, 12, 2, carry 1. So we would be having now bar 1. Okay, we are carrying 1. So 1 minus 1, that one cancels, then plus bar 2, and that will remain bar 2. So we'll be having bar 2 at this point here. Bar 2. Remember to subscribe. Owen from Mumboni, thank you so much, Mumboni boys. Great work, Mwalimu. Thank you so much. I appreciate Mumboni boys for always standing up. This is really great. Very great. Let me cross-check my addition. Remember, this is going to be 2 because of 12. Now I carry 1. So when I have 1 plus the 1 at the characteristic here, that will become 2. Then 2 plus negative 2 now will cancel out, and we'll be having 0. So it will be 0.22, 2, then 666. That is what we are having now from the numerator. Let's go to the denominator, whereby I'm having 4, 3, 2, 9 as the number. I love it as 4.329 times 10 power 3. And this will be 3 point. Now we read the log of 4.329. And this is going to exactly be 6364. 6364. That is now the logarithm. We should know that from the numerator and the denominator, now the overall logarithms are supposed to be subtracted. So 0.2666. Then we subtract, because numerator and denominator have been divided. We subtract 3.6364. This is going to be 2, 0, 3. Then we borrow 1 for this to be 12. 6 points. We have already borrowed 1. So we have bar 1 minus 3, which makes it a bar 4. Bar 1 minus 3, making it generally bar 4. Now, at this point, there is a general cube root now. And for us to deal with a root, we usually multiply by a third. If it is root 3, we multiply the log by a third. If it is root 2, we multiply by a half. If it is root 4, we multiply by a quarter. So in this case, we are multiplying by a third, or rather dividing by 3. So to divide by 3 now means that the characteristic part of this logarithm should be independently divisible by 3. And from the look of things, it's a 4. This is to mean that we have to make it a multiple of 3. And because it's already a negative 4, the nearest multiple of 3 is a negative 6. So we borrow 6 from negative 4 to make, we borrow 2 from negative 4 to make it bar 6, so that we may divide it by 3. Then we add on the other side now, the Mandisa part is having 0.6302. The 2 that we have borrowed from 4, now we add it on the Mandisa, 2 point. 6302. Now independently divided by 3, and this is going to give us bar 1 plus. On the other side now, when we divide, bar 2, sorry, bar 2, because we are dividing -6, so bar 2. Then plus, I'm getting a 0.8767 to 4SF, which means now we have to get back to the anti-log. This means now we are having bar 2.8767. So this is going to be 10 power -2. And now we take the anti-log of 0.8768. This is going to be exactly 7.528. 7.5289. This means that if this is the standard form, we shall have 0.00 after multiplying by 10 power -2, 753. Remember, the examiner is very specific, very specific. We are talking about use logarithms to 4 decimal places. So now the answer is at 4 decimal places, and it becomes our final answer. When you use logarithms to evaluate such a question, it's always advisable for a sharp student to get back to their calculator, then they compute very quickly 23.56 multiplied by 0.28 squared. Then you divide by 4329, and after getting the answer, now you take cube root of the answer. Then you confirm whether this answer is correct or very close to the correct answer. All right, number 2, make S the subject of the formula. We have a formula here relating several variables, and now we want to change the subject from D to S. The first thing we'll do, before the brackets, we have a P. So we can divide through by P, so that we shall have dP, or D over P, being equivalent to the square root of A squared minus W squared, then this divided by R squared plus 5 squared, which is a 25. 5 squared is a 25, yeah? Then now at this point, because of the general square root, we can square both sides, so that D squared divided by P squared is equivalent to A squared minus W squared, then divided by R power 2 plus 25. We can now cross multiply at this stage, whereby D squared multiplies R, and also D squared multiplies 25. It multiplies 25. That is 25D squared. We can rearrange, but no problem. Equals to P squared S squared. Then we subtract P squared W squared. Remember, we are making S the subject, so the term with S can be left on its own. The term with S can be left on its own, such that we have P squared S squared. Then now we take P squared W squared to the left-hand side, where it becomes a positive. So we shall have this now beginning with D squared R squared plus D squared, or 25D squared. Let me make it more reasonable. D squared. Then the minus P squared W squared now becomes added here. P squared W squared. Then to remain with S alone squared, we have to divide through by P squared. So we will have the whole of this D squared R squared plus 25 D squared plus P squared W squared. Then now we have to divide through. We have to divide through by P squared. Because what we are having, because what we are having is s squared, then we can remain with s by obtaining square root. When we obtain square root, remember we get plus or minus. Let me write it very well. The square root of. It's also good for us to know that for the denominator, being a square number, we can get the square root as p. And after you've gotten the square root as p, the others are now sum of square numbers. And we don't know that the overall sum is going to be a square number also. That's why we cannot determine the square root, and we have to write them all under root sign. D squared r squared plus 25 d squared plus p squared w squared. Remember to drop your comment. Please give us your comments. Remember to subscribe. Remember to share. Just invite a friend. Just invite a friend for this program, which is very powerful and shall benefit a lot of us. Okay, number 3, given the position vectors, OA is 4i plus 8j minus 2k, and OB as 3k minus I minus 2j. Point C divides vector AB in the ratio 3:1. Find the magnitude of vector OC, then give your answer to 2 decimal places. Give your answer to 2 decimal places. Okay. I recognize you, St. Mark Boys Kitale. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Mompone School, thank you so much. Let's continue following. Let's remember to invite our friends. This is going to be great. Remember, if you want to load airtime to your respective networks, either Safaricom, Airtel, Telcom, you're gonna use a very simple procedure through our account, whereby you go to the M-Pesa menu. No more use of scratch cards now. Go to the M-Pesa menu, then Lipa na M-Pesa. The paybill number is 737356. Once you've entered the paybill number, now you're given the option to enter the account number, and for that option, you will use the number that you intend to load airtime for, whether your own number for Safaricom, for Airtel, whether the number of your friends, if you want to buy for them. You can buy for yourself, you can buy for friends, you can even fuliza. If you don't have airtime, you just fuliza normally, you pay for the airtime. Yeah, so please make good use of such a mode of acquiring airtime. Okay, now to our question. Back to evaluating now the magnitude of a vector. These are several concepts at the same time. Generally, we're going to use what we call the ratio theorem. If you have two vectors, you can see the kind of ratio here, and you will know that point C is an external divider. Point A, point B, then C is dividing externally. When you are given the ratio as 3:1, it means from A to where C is, there are 3 divisions. Then from where C is back to B, we shall have 1 division. So the ratios can be divided into, we remain with 2 proportions there and 1. Now, assuming that this is a ratio M for a general statement, and this is N, we usually say that the coordinates of B are given when we take the ratio M out of the total number of proportions, M plus N. then we multiply by, because we have picked M, we multiply by vector C, and we add the other ratio, M plus N. So when we begin with N, now we pick vector A. This is the general application of what we call the ratio theorem. Now, applied to this question, we need to say that the coordinates of B, which can be written as 3, -1, then -2. These coordinates of B are going to be given by, if we take ratio 2, then we divide by total proportions, which are 3, then we multiply by, because we have picked 2, we shall multiply by vector C, which is unknown, x, y, z. Then we add 1 out of 3 multiplied by vector A, which is known. This is going to be 4, 8, -2. 4, 8, -2. 4, 8, -2. Type C. 4, 8, -2. Okay, now we can proceed to get the specific coordinates of our C now, such that we can remain with 2/3. 2/3 of x being equivalent to, at that point now we have to take 4/3 to the other side. 4/3 plus 1/3, and 4/3 plus 1/3 becomes 1 2/3. This means finally x shall be 2.5. Then we can check on 2 out of 3 vector y becoming equivalent to remain with 2/3y, we have to say 1/3 times 8. That is 8/3 taken to the other side. So 1, it's already -1 minus 8/3, and that will give us -3 2/3. Which means the value of y is going to be -5.5. And finally, 2/3 for z. This is going to be, we're already having -2. Then on the other side, we will have 1/3 by -2, which means we will have -2/3 taken to the other side becoming positive. So -2 plus 2/3. And this is going to be, when -2 we add 2/3, we shall have -1 1/3. And for us to remain with z, then this is going to be -2. Z is going to be -2. So the vector itself, OC, the vector OC itself is going to be 2.5 vector I minus 5.5 vector J minus 2 vector K. So this is the vector itself, vector OC. And with the vector now, we can get the magnitude now. So the magnitude of OC, we can actually just write OC, the magnitude, written this way. That is the symbol for magnitude. We need 2.5 squared plus -5.5 also squared, then plus -2 also squared. Then now we obtain square root for everything. And this is going to be OC vector as exactly 6.36 units. 36 units. This is now the magnitude of vector OC, giving our answer to 2 decimal places according to the instructions. Number 4, given that the values of K are 8.2 centimeters, then A 4.1 centimeters and B 7.0 centimeters measured to 1 dp or 1 decimal place, find the percentage error in the evaluation of K divided by A multiplied by B. Remember to subscribe. Remember to invite friends. Just remember to share. Just remember to share. Just remember to share. The lesson is going to be great, and people are going to really benefit. So thank you so much for finding time to be one of us tonight. We just appreciate. I really, really appreciate. So thank you so much. On the errors and approximations, one thing we're supposed to know is that there is absolute error in the recording of each dimension. And so we have to obtain the limits within which the recordings have been done. Good work, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As we focus on this question, it's very good for you to know that through shifting grades, you can effectively and conveniently purchase airtime by simply going to your M-Pesa menu and following a very simple procedure here. Very simple procedure whereby you go to Lipa na M-Pesa, pay bill number 737356, the simplest ever pay bill for you to master. Then you enter your number. That will be the account now. You enter your number, be it Safaricom, be it Airtel, be it Telcom, then the amount you wish to buy, to purchase, and after that you enter the PIN and you confirm your transaction. So the pay bill is displayed here. Please make use of it. Please make good use of it. For whatever network, use our number. Thank you. The limits of recording K. It's good to know the limits of recording K. The limits of recording K. K is going to be the upper limit of K because there is 8.4.2, sorry. Then it means there will be an upper limit of recording K, an upper limit of 8.25 and a lower limit of K equivalent to 8.15. This is when we add or subtract 0.05, the absolute error in the recording of such a dimension. Then A has been recorded in the same accuracy of 1 decimal place. So being 4.1, then it will have a maximum value of 4.15 and a minimum of, when we subtract the absolute error, 4.05. Then we are having another quantity there, B. B is also recorded in the same accuracy, and being 7.0, then we can have 7.05 or a lower limit of B being 6.95 when we subtract 0.05 to 7. So those are the limits within which all the dimensions have been recorded. After that, it's good for you to get what we call because we are dividing anyway, we need quotients. So quotients, quotient maximum. Quotient maximum will be gotten by the maximum value of K, 8.25. But for quotient to be maximum, then the divider must be the least. And for us to get the least divider, then we need the minimum value of A, that is a 4.05 multiplied by the minimum value of B, 6.95. So the actual, the maximum, the maximum shall be 0.2931. 0.2931. This is the maximum quotient. For us to get the minimum quotient minimum, we need to operate with the minimum value for K. So 8.25 4.15, but we divide by the largest possible value at the denominator, whereby we need the larger values now. 8.25 for K multiplied by, we are multiplying with maximum values of A and B. So for A, 4.15, and for B, 6.95. 6.95. This is going to give us exactly the minimum. For us to get the minimum, we have to multiply with the upper limits because we need a bigger divider. So 4.15 and 7.05. Yeah, 7.05. This will give us 0.2786. 2786. Then after this, now we can talk of the quotient, which is actual, the working quotient. It's going to be the numbers just as they are. K is 8.2 divided by A, written as 4.1, and B, written as 7.0. And this is going to take us to 0.2857. So we have the actual, the maximum, and the minimum quotients. There is another quantity that we have to obtain, and that is what we call absolute error. Absolute error is usually given by maximum divided by maximum 0.2931 minus the minimum value 0.2786 divided by 2. That's how we get absolute error. When we get absolute error now as 0.00725, we can get now percentage error, whereby we need absolute error divided by actual value 0.2857. This will give us relative error, but when we multiply by 100, we translate this error now to percentage error, and that will be 2.538%. If there are no special instructions, we can leave it as 4 significant. So that is how we work out such a question. Let's look at number 5 on binomial expansions. Number 5 on binomial expansions. Remember, you are supposed to subscribe. Please subscribe and invite a friend. Just invite a friend. Just invite a friend. This is great. Acknowledge me to be part of students. Yeah, thank you so much, my constant, my always available student, Kennedy Diambo. I really appreciate for your support all the time. You are always in the channel, getting the best you can. I want to wish you all the best. Somebody says, hi, teacher. You can greet us through the comment section and let us know where you really come from. I appreciate them boys from Mombone, Alungo boys. Thank you so much for turning up. Wow, this is wonderful. This is really wonderful. I can see Ambassador Foundation is with us in the lesson, and that is great. Ladies and gentlemen, Ambassador Foundation is a platform in YouTube whereby all the motivation that you need in life is found. So please feel free to follow up with Ambassador Foundation for your motivation. You shall like it. It's a program led by one of my greatest friends and a teacher also, Sir Alex Kipruto. So please follow up with his program, subscribe to his channel, and share. with all your friends. Thank you so much. Good evening. How do we have these papers? There is a number that locked. Wow, this is great. There is a number that I've been posting around, and I will repost it. 0704153366. Through this number, I will supply those papers to you. Okay, number 5 on binomial expansions. Expand 1 minus half x raised to power 10 up to the 4th term in the ascending powers of x. Hence, evaluate the value of 0.95 raised to power 10 to 3 decimal places for 3 marks. For us to expand a certain binomial to the powers of 10, the first thing we should know is the binomial coefficients of power 10. And the first 4 terms, for the first 4 terms, now we shall start with. The first one is 1. Then the second one is 10. Then after 10, we will have 45. Then after 45, there is 120. So these are the first 4 coefficients. The first 4 coefficients. Engineer Sigei, thank you so much, Engineer Sigei from Kenya. This lesson is so enjoyable. I like it, bro. Wow, thank you so much for being part of an or area of a cylinder. For such case, please remember the formula for the given quantities. You will always find that if it is a volume or a given surface area, for the given solid, there is a certain, because they are regular solids, there is a formula to follow. A cylinder, you know the formula. Volume of a cone, you know the formula. Now you just use the formula, and for maximum, we use upper limits of the given quantities. For minimum volumes and surface area, you use lower limits for the given measurements. Prosper TV. Thank you so much, Prosper. This is Amos Wambua. Thank you so much. We can follow up with Amos program on Prosper TV. You're going to find chemistry and biology. Thank you so much, my colleague and a friend. Acknowledgement. This is St. James Meru. Wow, thank you so much. Obsessed by math. Wow, I like these, Mwalimu. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's continue learning. I can see Daniel from Karuri High School, ready to learn. All the best. Welcome and learn, please. Okay, after you've chosen or you've picked either from the maths table or otherwise the coefficients of power 10, binomial coefficients of power 10. Now you start inserting. Remember, from the first term, you're supposed to start with 1 being raised to the total power of 10, but now negative half x being raised to power 0. In most of the cases, when there is negative half, students tend to forget and they start using half x. Don't forget the negative, please. In the next term, 1 is going to be power 9, but negative half x takes power 1. The powers of x are ascending. Then in the third term, we shall have 1 power 8, but negative half x now becomes squared. Then in the fourth term, 1 is power 7, and half x will be raised to power 3. At this point, now we can get the specific values, whereby we say at this point we will have 1 multiplied by 1 power 10 is just 1, and anything power 0 is just 1. So in the first term, everything is being reduced to 1. The next will be a minus, of course, because negative half x raised to 1 remains the way it is. 1 power 9 remains 1. So we shall have 10 multiplied by 1 multiplied by negative half x, and that will be 5x. Then positive. The next is a positive sign. Reason being negative half x squared. the negative disappears because of negative half times negative half. So that will be a quarter. So we'll have 45 times 1, because 1 power 8 is 1. 45 times 1 multiplied by a quarter x squared. That is automatically going to be 11.25. 11.25 x is now squared. And finally minus, we will have 120 multiplied by 1 power 7 is 1. So 120 times 1, then multiplied by negative 1 over 2 x power 3. That means it will be negative 1 over 8 power, negative 1 over 8 x power 3. So 120 times 1 times negative 1 over 8 will be negative 15, and x becomes power 3. At this point now, we are done with our expansion, fully expanded. So now we can talk of the use of such an expansion to evaluate 0.95 raised to the power of 10. So ours is to equate 1 minus 1 over 2x. This one is raised to power 10, being equal to 0.95 raised also to power 10. This will imply that the bases are equal. When you see the powers are being equal, we can automatically equate the bases. And from this, we can get the value of x is 0.1. So with x is 0.1, now we apply it in our expanded. Though it has been rounded up to the fourth term, we just apply it there. We start with 1 minus 5, then instead of x, 0.1, then plus 11.25. Then we'll have 0.1 squared, then minus 15x, 0.1 raised to power 3. So when you key in this into the calculator directly, you shall obtain 0.598. 0.598. Remember, this is supposed to be exactly in 3 decimal places according to the original instructions. According to the original instructions. Yeah, that's how we compute it. In number 6, 2 types of coffee, grade A and B, retail at 240 Kenya shillings and 300 Kenya shillings respectively. Mohammed sell a mixture of both grades at 303 and 60 cents, making a profit of 10%. Find the ratio in which he mixed the grades. Find the ratio in which he mixed the grades. Thank you so much for remaining around. I can see Alex from Lanet Secondary in Nakuru. Lanet in Nakuru. So I recognize you, young man from Nakuru. Let's continue learning. Okay, in our number 6, we are now dealing with mixtures and ratios. Something you're supposed to know is that by selling the mixture of the grades, we are having 303.60 cents Kenya shillings, but there is a profit of 10%, which means we can talk of now this amount being together with a profit. So it's 110%. So we can get 100%, this being 110 of 303.60. And this is going to be 200. And is it 76? Let me just confirm. Yeah, 276. After you've gotten 276, 276 Kenya shillings, this is now the cost of a kilogram of the grades. So when the mixture is done, then a kilogram is costing 276. So we can say we are having grade A, we are having grade B, grade A costing 240, grade B costing 300, but being mixed to give us 276. cost, which means we can get the ratio in which the mixing was done. 300 minus 276 gives us exactly 24 is 2. 240 subtracted from 276 will give us exactly 36. So we subtract in this manner. This means the ratio of A is to B. We'll simplify now to by what? We can simplify it by 12. 2 and by 12, 3. That is the simplest ratio in which the two grains were mixed. You can use that formula or just follow the long method whereby you will tell us that 240 multiplied by several kilograms of grade A, then 300 several kilograms of B. When we divide this by the total number of kilograms which have been mixed, A and B for both types, we will get 276. 276. So we can multiply through and have 240A plus 300B. This is equivalent to 276A plus 276B after we've multiplied through. And at this point now, we can rearrange and have 276 minus 240, so that A becomes 36 at this point. Then 300 minus 276, we get 24B at this point. So we can divide through by B to have 24 being equal to 36A out of B, and to remain with A out of B, A out of B. Then we divide through by 36, and that will be 24 over 36. Simplifying 2 by 12, 2 by 12, 3. So the ratio is 2:3. The ratio simplifies to 2:3. So that is how we maneuver about that question. Thank you. I can see people are remaining around and seriously following. Thank you, sir, for your time to us students. Brighton, Jehovah Jireh Secondary. Wonderful. Brighton, thank you so much for following up. Thank you for being around. Remember to always invite your friends. Always come around with a friend. It shall always be great. You will never regret following up with the shifting grades. So we invite all learners across all the forms to Shifting Grades Online School. Thank you so much, great people. To the Form 4s, if you are here and you're Form 4, I want to sincerely wish you success. Remember, you can continue browsing. You can continue interacting with family and friends from all over the world by ensuring that you load airtime for all the networks. There is no excuse of the network that you use. You can just buy airtime for whatever phone number it is, be it Safaricom, be it Airtel. Please screenshot this simple procedure. Screenshot this simple procedure. The pay bill is one of the easiest that you can master. Our pay bill is very easy to master. Just master it, 737356. Invite more friends to continue using the same pay bill. Thank you so much for your support. Number seven now. I can see people are increasing in the lesson, and this is great. This is wonderful. Okay, number 7. Juma, a Form 2 student, was taught to pick two numbers, X and Y, from a set of digits 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Find the probability that the absolute value of X minus Y is at least 3. The absolute value of X minus Y is at least 3. What we shall come up with here is what we call a probability space. Probability space whereby we're going to get all the possible outcomes when two numbers are picked and added. Two numbers are picked and added. So let me draw here. You can have the first one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's all the numbers. We can also have the other option of choosing here, but we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now let us see the probability space that we are supposed to come up with. We can list the numbers first from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 0 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember, we are picking a pair of numbers, then subtracting. So we can pick from the first option. Let me now use a different ink. We can pick 0, 0 and subtract, we get 0. Then 0 and 1, we get 1. 0 and 2, we get 2. We get 3, we get 4, we get 5, we get 6. In the next, now we can pick from a 1 and 0. When we subtract, we get 1. Remember, we are just getting absolute difference. So regardless of the number that you're subtracting from the other, as long as you are picking absolute differences, just write them. Don't recognize the possibility of having a negative difference. So this is going to be 1. Then 1 and 1, we will get a 0. 1 and 2, it will be 1. 1 and 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. You just continue filling. In the next, we'll have 0 and 2, and the difference will be 2. Therefore, 2, 1 and 2, the difference will be 1. 2 and 2, the difference will be 0. Then now 3 and 2, difference of 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, we can have 0 and 3, whereby the difference shall be 3. 1 and 3, difference shall be 2. 2 and 3, difference shall be 1. 3 and 3, difference of 0. 4 and 3, 1, 2, 3. Then again, 0 and 4, a difference of 4. 1 and 4, difference of 3. 2 and 4, difference of 2. 3 and 4, difference of 1. 4 and 4, difference of 3. 5 and 4, 1. 6 and 4, 2. So those are the differences. And we just continue. 0 and 5, the difference will be 5. 1 and 5, difference 4. 2 and 5, difference 3. 3 and 5, difference 2. 4 and 5, difference 1. 5 and 5, difference of 0. 6 and 5, a difference of 1. And finally, 0 and 6, difference of 6. 1 and 6, difference of 5. 2 and 6, difference of 4. 3 and 6, difference of 3. 4 and 6, difference of 2. 5 and 6, a difference of 1. And 6 and 6, a difference of 0. So this is the probability space, or the possible outcomes. Now we need the probability that when x has been subtracted from y, the absolute value is equal or at least 3. So it's either 3 or greater than that. And this is going to be, we are going to explore all the possibilities where there is, either 3 or a value greater than 3. Let me check such values. On this side, we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. And on the other side, we shall have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There are 10 options. The 10 is here. So we have 10, 10, which means 20 options out of, in the cases where the absolute value is 3 or more, at least 3, it is 20 options out of a total of 7 by 7, which is 49. Out of a total possibility space of 49, we get 20 chances where the difference of x and y is either 3 or more than that. The difference is at least 3. So that is how we work out such a question. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I can see people are in. People are really following up. And I appreciate that. I really appreciate. Let's get to number 8. A question on number 8 is a question on variations. For this case, partial variations. Two quantities x and y are such that y varies partly as the square of x and partly inversely as the square root of x. From that statement alone, we can translate the English into mathematics. Daniel Agesa, thank you so much. So when we talk of a y varying partly as the square of x, means y varies partly as the square of x. And there is another part, so we add, where y varies inversely as the square root of x. Inversely as the square root of x. So at this point now, allow me introduce constants of proportionality, whereby we can have kx squared, then we add another constant like c out of the square root of x. Out of the square root of x, yeah, like that. We can now talk of a few substitutions. When x is 4, the value of y is 40. So from that, we can get an equation, right? Whereby we will say a y is 40 equals to, when x is 4, so squared, we get 6k. When x is squared, we get 6k plus c out of the square root of 4, which is 2. And from such an equation, we can multiply through by 2, by the way, for us to have 80 being equivalent to 32k, then plus c. Let's call it equation 1. We continue interpreting information. We continue interpreting information, in which case we shall say that when x is 1, the value of y is 18. So we start with 18 being equivalent to x is 1. So when we square 1, we get k plus c divided by 1. C divided by 1, which is just c. So the two equations are here now. We can bring it here to be 18 being equivalent to k plus c. So this is our equation 2. We can solve them simultaneously, whereby I prefer elimination method because the coefficients of c are already the same in the two different equations. So in the two different equations, when we subtract corresponding values, we shall have c becoming 0, then that 1k, being equivalent to 62. And that is how the value of c, not c but k, the value of k automatically now becomes 2. The value of k becomes 2. With the value of k being 2, utilize the space around very well. With k being 2, we can get the value of c, which is automatically now 16. And the general equation now becomes y is equivalent to, instead of k, we'll have c, x squared, then plus a constant, which is now 16 instead of c, the square root of x. This is now the general equation connecting the two variables, x and y. Find the value of y when x is 0.25. So 2 into 0.25. This one has to be squared, plus 16 divided by the square root of 0.25. So when you use your calculator to compute this, you shall get exactly 32.125. So that is the value of y when x is 0.25. From Boone School, I really appreciate your work, sir. So thank you so much, gentlemen. Continue following up. I want to challenge people to turn up with their friends in our next broadcast. So please feel free to invite someone. Please feel free. Yeah, number 9. Remember, we are winding up. Number 9 in a triangle ABC. AB is equivalent to 7.2, AC 6.8, and the angle BAC equals to 120. Calculate part 1, the length of BC, to 3 significant figures. To 3 significant figures. So at this, we can have now, let's just have a sketch. In part B, we are told that a circle passes through the vertices A, B, and C. Find the radius of the circle. So let me start by sketching even the circle itself. Sketching the circle itself. Yeah, that's a circle. And now we are talking of a triangle now, whereby the vertices will be touched. So I'm trying to, I'm trying to come up with the A, B, and C. That is the triangle. Then at this point, we can now allocate AB 7.2. Then AC 6.8. Then there is an angle BAC. The angle at this point, the angle at that point is equivalent to 120 degrees. So now we can apply cosine rule for us to get BC. The length opposite to the angle, which is BC, when we take BC and we square, we're supposed to get AC squared 6.8 plus the other length AB squared 7.2 squared minus 2 multiplied by the 2 lines which have been provided, then multiplied by the cosine of 120. When you compute this, you discover that the value of BC squared is equal to 147.04. And eventually now B will be, or BC is going to be the square root 112.1 square centimeters, or centimeters, sorry, it's a length. So this means now to 3 significant figures, we will strictly have 12.1. When will be the next broadcast? Please, because I'm new to this channel. Thank you for your question. Thank you for your question. Somebody is asking about our next broadcast, and I will respond in this manner. Kindly ensure that you first of all subscribe so that whenever we go live, you can see. You can also save my number 0704153366. This number, when you chat me, I will be able to save your number, and you will be able to see my status updates in WhatsApp, more so when we are about to have some lessons. So don't you worry. Let's do part 2. Okay, tomorrow we will measure with part 2. So please relax. Know that you are sorted. The sine rule is always equivalent to twice the radius of a circle, or simply the diameter. So we can talk of not 120, sorry, the distance which we have gotten is 12.1. 12.1 divided by the sine. This is sine rule, 20. This is usually equal to twice the radius of the circle. So for us to get the radius of the circle, now we compute by dividing through by 2. So 12.1 divided by 2 sine 120. This will give us exactly 7.00. Exactly 7 is the radius of the circle. Exactly 7. Exactly 7. Okay. Now there are tables here on commercial arithmetic. We also have a few questions on matrices, whereby we should know that mapping on a straight line means that we are mapping it on no area, and so the determinant will become 0 automatically. There's a question on AP and GP. There are questions on a businessman trying to deposit. That is the compound interest, commercial arithmetic. We will be talking about these questions now. There is also equation of a circle from 3 mathematics, whereby you have to play along with this format of the equation until you get the center and radius of the circle. There is also a logarithm question in number 15. And finally, in number 16, there is a rates of change. Rates of change. Then after that, now, in our next live broadcast, we will be studying mathematics paper 2, section 2. So please remain a subscribed member of Shifting Grades. Remember to share this broadcast with your friends. Whenever you purchase our airtime, you are going to get it instantly. You just purchase through the pay bill 737356. Then the amount that you've purchased is going to reflect instantly. So please make sure that you use our mode of acquiring airtime. Use our mode for acquiring airtime for all the networks. Remember to invite a friend, both to the purchase of airtime and also to our live broadcasts every day. Thank you so much and have a good night.